The 1960s saw incredible advancements in medicine after people were able to turn their attention from World War II and the Korean War. Widespread distribution of the Sabin vaccine used to treat polio began. CPR was invented and the first liver transplant was performed. When John F. Kennedy became president, he supported medical advancements and the FDA. Therefore, many more laws were passed to protect people from medical harm, but Francis Oldham Kelsey helps by proving the importance of those laws during the thalidomide crisis. In 1960, women internationally were prescribed the sedative thalidomide to relieve pregnancy morning sickness. A large drug manufacturer petitioned the FDA to sell the popular drug domestically. Dr. Francis Oldham Kelsey, a new FDA medical officer, was pressured to approve the drug. Concerned with side effects, she took a stand and demanded more tests to prove the drug's safety. Dr. Kelsey saved thousands of lives by preventing phocomelia in many children. Phocomelia was a severe type of birth defect that caused malformation and absence of the limbs. This created major problems for them and their families, and many died from this tragedy. Francis Oldham Kelsey was born in 1914 and grew up in Canada. After graduating high school at age 15, she attended Victoria College for a short amount of time. She later attended and graduated from the University of British Columbia, where she received her bachelor's and master's degrees in science. Dr. Kelsey then taught and practiced medicine as a family doctor. In 1960, the FDA hired Dr. Kelsey as a medical officer to review new medicines for use in the United States. The second application Dr. Kelsey was assigned to review was thalidomide. Thalidomide had been used in Europe since 1957. The drug manufacturer claimed thalidomide was so safe that they could not find a high enough dosage to kill a rat. So safe that there was no prescription needed in Europe. So safe that it could be used during pregnancy. The William S. Merrill Company submitted an FDA application to sell and distribute thalidomide in the U.S. Popular all around the world, thalidomide was used to relieve morning sickness in pregnant women and was prescribed as a sleeping pill. Dr. Kelsey's superiors gave her this specific application because thalidomide was considered a harmless medication that would be easy to approve. At that time, the FDA was allowed 60 days to review each application. A manufacturer could automatically begin selling the drug if the FDA had not approved or denied the application within 60 days. When the FDA received a new drug application, it first had to pass through a chemist, then a pharmacologist, and finally a medical officer. The three doctors reviewed the application, and all three found the data insufficient. Thalidomide was poorly tested, and its application lacked information in many areas, including testing on the safety of a fetus and pregnancy in general. All three doctors found multiple problems with the application, including fundamental issues in the application's language translation. Geismar reviewed the application again, this time in its original language of German, finding more problems than before. Geismar was located closest to Kelsey and worked with Dr. Kelsey to write the letters to the manufacturers explaining that the drug could not be accepted unless the company provided more information. The William S. Merrill Company sent in more information and made improvements to the application. However, Dr. Kelsey reported that much of the evidence and scientific test results supporting the drug's safety were testimonials that lacked scientific support.
Our objections, as I have pointed out, were really on theoretical grounds, largely based on the fact that there was no evidence that it was safe. Dr. Kelsey.
Since thalidomide was marketed so widely in Europe, the Merrill Company believed there should be no problem with the FDA approving the drug's application. Merrill expressed frustration when Dr. Kelsey asked for more information. Additionally, Merrill freely contacted and pressured Dr. Kelsey many times to approve the application. In one instance, Merrill asserted to Dr. Kelsey that thalidomide was safe because there was no proven information that it was unsafe. The FDA approval team discovered other problems with thalidomide. For example, the drug was not absorbed solely into an adult body. Dr. Kelsey noted that,
when you give a drug to a pregnant woman, you are exposing, in fact, two people to the drug, the mother and the child. Dr. Kelsey.
Because of some side effects, including peripheral neuritis, a painful tingling of the arms and feet, thalidomide had been removed from over-the-counter transactions and became a prescription item in Germany. When questions about thalidomide and peripheral neuritis were discussed in a meeting between Merrill and the FDA review team, Dr. Kelsey wanted to know what thalidomide's impact in pregnancy had been.
Despite the global popularity of this drug and despite the constant and increasing pressure from the firm to approve the application, Dr. Kelsey refused to do that without adequate evidence that the drug was safe, a decision that was supported by her colleagues and superiors, the FDA.
Other researchers later discovered that a fetus did not have the proper enzymes or a mature kidney system to prevent the drug's excessive absorption into the fetus's body. As a result, the side effects on the infant were deadly. In the early 1960s, clinical trials did not require FDA approval. While the FDA was reviewing the thalidomide application, the William S. Merrill Company distributed 2.5 million tablets to doctors' offices all over the U.S., Merrill claiming that the drug was under investigation, but had been proven safe. Consequently, in the U.S., there were 17 known babies that were victims born with phocomelia due to thalidomide.
We did not become aware of this widespread distribution of thalidomide until after the drug had been withdrawn. Dr. Kelsey.
Outside of the U.S., of the tens of thousands of infants born with phocomelia, only 40% lived more than a year. If these babies survived, they would live the rest of their lives without many limbs and would struggle immensely. Sadly, doctors in some countries would leave the deformed babies born with phocomelia unattended in a room to die. Thalidomide was finally withdrawn from the worldwide market on March 8, 1962, when scientists from Australia and Germany linked it to the recurrent birth defects. Although the drug was no longer prescribed to pregnant women, its devastating impact on infants would continue. It would still affect the lives of the victims and their families for years to come. Fortunately, the thalidomide tragedy would improve medical testing drastically. The resulting public uproar advanced changes that would strengthen the regulatory and scientific environment for medical product development and review. For example, in 1962, Congress amended the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act to require drug manufacturers to prove a drug is both safe and effective. Today, drug testing is more thorough, and clinical testing laws protecting its participants have been passed. Precautions and side effects are now printed on medicine bottles, and people are more careful when exposing themselves to drugs.
Due in part to her actions, drugs now undergo a rigorous evaluation of safety, quality, and effectiveness before they can even be sold. Controlled trials also contribute to effective safety evaluation, and the FDA's review of all pre-marketing safety data is far more sophisticated than ever before, because before it didn't exist. So what happened with thalidomide in the early 60s really set a wonderful precedent for science-based regulation, policy, and safety.
Smart, science-based regulation instills consumer confidence in products and treatments, it levels the playing field for businesses, it decreases the threat of litigation, it prevents recalls that threaten industry, reputation, and consumer trust, not to mention levying huge preventable costs on individual companies and entire industries. And it spurs industry to excellence. Dr. Margaret Homburg.
In 1964, after further testing, thalidomide was proven to treat other diseases. Thalidomide is now successfully used to treat some forms of cancer and complications from leprosy. Dr. Frances Kelsey received many awards for taking a stand against thalidomide's approval. In 1962, she was given the President's Award for Distinguished Federal Civilian Service, the highest honor that can be given to a civilian.
As a woman who is a scientist, she's inspirational. Part of the reason she got, I think, her either a fellowship or certain types of training was because, her name was Frances, but Frances could be a boy's name, and so that's why she got, on board. And so it's, she got that first opportunity. So it's a reminder of just so many, it's not just women's contributions to science, which is important. It's just also how one person can really make that difference.
The thalidomide tragedy changed the lives of thousands of people and those around them. Because of Dr. Kelsey, the thalidomide tragedy changed the way that medical testing is performed. Dr. Kelsey was able to prevent thousands of more babies from being born with phocomelia. Even more, she helped establish testing procedures and regulations that would prevent further disasters similar to the thalidomide tragedy. Dr. Frances Oldham Kelsey saved thousands of lives by taking a stand, asking simple questions, and demanding answers.